Welcome back to our flipped classroom. Today we're going to be talking about notes on angles, lines, and transversals. This is located in our accelerated version of digits, so it's in topic 25-1 in case you were curious. We're going to do the notes a little differently today because I'm going to interject some videos from digits as well because they have some interactive explanations of these definitions. So we will start with just reading over the definitions first, and then I will show you what something else. So they have a transversal, which is a line that intersects two or more lines at different points. In the diagram, line T is the transversal. So this line right here that I'm highlighting in blue again is the transversal. Next, we have the corresponding angles, and corresponding angles lie on the same side of the transversal and in corresponding positions. So we'll watch this quickly. Sorry.
There are four pairs of corresponding angles. Angles 1 and 5, angles 4 and 8, angles 2 and 6, and angles 3 and 7.
Okay, so what we're going to do here for the examples is we're actually going to list angle 1 and angle 5. Angle 2 and angle 6, angle 4 and angle 8, angle 3 and angle 7. Corresponding again means that they lie in this in corresponding positions on the same side of the transversal. So they have highlighted in this picture 3 and 5. That's something different. Angles 1 and 5, if you notice, are both to the left of the transversal and above these lines here in green. They're both above line A and line B. So that makes them corresponding. For alternate interior angles, we are thinking about angles that are inside. If you're an interior decorator, those are the angles inside. They lie within a pair of lines and on opposite sides of the transversal. So here they have highlighted that angle 3 and angle 5 are considered alternate interior angles, and angle 4 and angle 6 would be another pair because they are inside, again, these green lines, they're inside and on opposite sides of the transversal. Okay, example number 1 is then asking us to classify each pair of angles that they have listed as either corresponding or alternate interior. So I'm going to ask you guys to go ahead and take a shot with this. All right. Check over your answers here. Make sure that you are writing the actual angle sign in front of the numbers as well, so because we're not just talking about the number 1, 2, 3, 4, so forth, we're talking about angles. So if you have any questions on this, again, you need to make sure that you do put a little star on your paper and remember to ask me. Next, it says that when a transversal intersects two parallel lines, corresponding angles are now congruent. Congruent angles have the same measures. You can mark angles with arcs to show that they are congruent. So they are saying to you which angles are shown as being congruent in this diagram. Okay, so we'll go answer that question and go back to the definition. So here, this has one arc and this has one arc. So they're showing us that angle 2 and angle 6 are congruent. And then this one has two arcs. So they would be telling us that angle 1 and angle 5 are congruent. What's happening here is that this transversal that I'm going to be marking in green is now intersecting two parallel lines. So the two lines in red that never touch. That's what parallel means. So now, if you have a line intersecting parallel lines, your corresponding angles are now considered congruent. So if I was to say angle 2 and angle 6, they are corresponding angles, so they are congruent. They're both on the right side of the green line above the red lines. I can now also again say that angle 1 and angle 5 are congruent because they are both now on the left side of the green line above the red lines. So question number 2. Number 2 is saying that the segments that form the parking spaces are parallel. What is the measure of angle 1? And you should be saying that it is 80 degrees. They're telling you that these lines right here are parallel, and it's being cut by this transversal. So if you notice, both the 80 and the 1 are to the above the transversal and to the right of those blue lines. Okay. Next it says, when a transversal intersects two parallel lines, alternate interior angles are now congruent. What are the pairs of alternate interior angles in this diagram? So again, these are your parallel lines. I'm showing you them in red. And this is our transversal, the one that is in green. And now if my transversal is cutting those parallel lines, my alternate interior angles are also congruent. So they are showing me that 4 and 6, are congruent, and because they are interior angles, they're inside the red lines, not on the outside, and they're on opposite sides of the green transversal. So the other angles then that would be congruent are angle 3 and angle 5. Question 3 says that Andy is working on a dude ranch repairing fences. The rails shown are parallel. What is the measure of angle 1? Remember that this M angle, that means measure of angle 1. Okay, they're just using a shorthand there. So they're telling us again that these lines are parallel. And so now they're cutting those parallel lines technically with this transversal. Even though their fence doesn't extend past the blue lines, now that shows us then that both the 40 and the 1 are inside the blue lines and they're on opposite sides of that transversal. So measure of angle 1 must be 40 degrees. Go ahead, take a look at number 4. So this one is showing us, they want to know what is the measure of angle 1, which again, they could have written like this if they wanted to. Our parallel lines are these ones right here. I'm not doing a great job of tracing them. That's our transversal. And so if I look, angle 1 is on the inside of the blue line there, and this one that is marked 100 is also on the inside. So they would be alternate interior angles. So I'm going to say that angle 1 is 100 degrees by alternate interior angles. I'm just giving you my reasoning so that you can understand where I'm getting that from. Question number 5 says that when sunlight enters a drop of rain, different colors of light leave the drop at different angles, making a rainbow. In the figure shown, lines M and N represent the sun's rays. So assume that lines M and N are parallel. So I'm just going to highlight M and N so we can see them a little bit more. And you are standing at point A. So this is where they're saying we are, is over here at point A. For violet light at point B, 27 degrees, so I'm going to label that point B, measure of angle 2 is 27 degrees, and the measure of angle 3 is 153 degrees, I'm going to label that. They want to now know what the measure of angle 1 is, so they want to know this angle here. Well, if you also use the concept of angle 1 definitely appears to be an acute angle, the only angle out of measures 2 and 3 that is acute as well would be 27. But if you notice, angle 1 and angle 2 are both again inside the blue lines, and they are on opposite sides of this transversal right here. They're on opposite sides of this transversal, so that means that they are congruent. So I would say 27 degrees. Example number 6 says that in the figure, A is parallel to B. These two lines right here mean parallel. Given the measure of angle X is 147 2/10 degrees, and the measure of angle Y is 32 8/10 degrees, round the angle measures to the nearest degree and find the estimated measures of angle U and angle Q. So x is going to become 147 degrees. Y is going to become 33 degrees. Okay. Angle x is right here. That clearly appears to be an obtuse angle. And angle y is right here, and that one clearly appears to be a acute angle. So they want us to find the measure of angles U and Q. So this line right here, A and B, are the ones that they are telling us are parallel. We now have two transversals cutting these parallel lines. So I'm going to highlight these in different colors. So this one here, if I look at that one, if I look at that transversal and I look at Q, I'm going to see that Q, it's on the left side of that yellow line, and it's below the transversal. And if I look at X, that is also on the left side of the yellow line and below one of those parallel lines. So I'm going to say that angle Q is 147 because it's corresponding to angle X. And then angle U, now I'm going to highlight angle U. I'm going to highlight the transversal that makes up angle U. And angle U now is on the left side of that purple transversal, and angle Y is also on the left side of that transversal, and they're both below the red lines, so again, they are also going to be corresponding. So U is going to be 33, because again, it's corresponding to angle Y. And then question number 7 says that engineers are laying pipe below ground on opposite sides of the street as shown here. To join the pipe, workers on each side of the street work towards the middle. One of the workers lays the pipe using a measure of angle 4 is 117 degrees, so I'm labeling this as 117 degrees. The other team of workers lays the pipe using the measure of angle 2, and we need to find the measure of angle 2. Assume that the sides of the street are parallel, so this side is parallel to this side, and that the pipe is straight. So I'm just going to extend the pipe from here to here, so that means that I've now created a transversal that is cutting those parallel lines. And based on the definitions, angle 4, I'll use green here, angle 4 is an interior angle, and angle 1 would be an alternate interior angle to that. So that means that angle 1 would also be 117 degrees. But because we want to know the measure of angle 2, doesn't angle 1 and angle 2 together make a straight line, which forms supplementary angles? So if I take 180 and subtract 117, it will now give me 63. So the measure of angle 2 is 63 degrees because angle 1 is alternate interior to angle 4, and then angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary. So that's the thought process behind that one. So again, if you have any questions on any of these, please put a little star next to them or question mark, and remember to ask me tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.